Everybody, gonna just do the invitations as per usual. Just doing the invitations. Invitations. I'm feeling quiet today, but that's usually when Spirit has something to say in me, through me, all around me. Just like you. So I'm just inviting. We have so many new people who maybe haven't introduced themselves yet. If you are new and you're watching, I stopped doing the formal welcomes because I'm here regularly every Wednesday in the G Spot Live, and so this is my opportunity to welcome all of you who have joined us in Good Girls Gone Goddess for whatever your reasons. You answered the questions when you first came in, and I do hope that you will continue to connect with the sisters. And the way to connect is in the comments. The way to connect is through sharing your parts of your own story, parts of your own self. The way to connect even more is offline in the Super Solstice Star Sunday, which is now formerly known as Rebirth Sunday, because I realize that for many of us, we're rebirthing in our mind and our heart what Sunday looks like, what Sunday feels like for us. And for everyone, it may be different. It may be a different process because we all come from different walks of life. And so Rebirth Sunday is definitely an opportunity for you to find what it is in your household that you would like to make sacred in a sacred way. It could be prayer, it could be ritual, it could be nature, it could be working out, could be even cleaning. But those are ways for those of you who are just joining the community to connect. Some of us have relationships with each other because we've gone through sacred processes together. Some of us are sisterpreneurs together in business. And actually there are a lot of people who are connected in this group who've been a part of other processes with me. And then there are some of you who just found it resonate with you, and you are finding your way in terms of sharing and getting connected and that type of thing. But welcome to this space. So I think I'm done inviting. Hey everybody. I look forward to today, despite feeling a little quiet in my spirit. Rhonda, I got to get with you because we got to get your date scheduled in the She Magic for in the next couple of weeks. So thanks for joining. So everybody, I want to share with you all today, build off of what broke open for us on Sunday. I came in, I did a little debrief. If you didn't get a chance to watch the debrief, it's under 20 minutes. And in that debrief, we talked about Sunday, the men who jumped on the call on Sunday spontaneously. It's almost as if Spirit just sent them in. And I don't know if the brother has been following me or whatever, but he said, he just felt led to come on his 20th pastoral anniversary. And so I started to teach a little bit about the vibrational escrow account. And so I wanted to say this, particularly of those of you who have your own things going on and you want to get in, you want to be connected, you want to participate, but sometimes you're at work, you get called into a meeting, you're building your own brand, you're doing your own thing. There is still space for us to share together. Just because you're building your own thing doesn't mean that we can't support one another. Hello, love. And if you all know my heart and know my intention, I'm very generous with bringing people in to expose their businesses. I have sent many of you on to some of my sisters in business, in ministry. I'd like to have some of you on during the Wednesdays for the next 4 months. I want to tell you how everything connects. We have the monthly coaching clinics, and so we're getting ready to go into month 2 of this year, February, focused on money. Even though February is considered the love month, last month we did the ancestral altar, setting up the ancestral altar. This month in the coaching clinic, we're going to be looking at breaking some of those ancestral curses regarding money. And so I hope to have Rhonda Bird come on as a part to co-host that with me to really get into the details of how those money curses begin to show up. The next thing is Sunday. We are on the law of vibration. And so instead of creating new content, there is so much to build on. Sundays is just not enough time to introduce the universal law. Every universal law has a principle and a faculty or a discipline, aka or a disciple. And so you'll get your Sunday inspiration and how to apply it. But in here, I'm also coming in to build off of what you heard on Sunday. And then in the monthly masterclass, it's an opportunity for you to thank you for the love, to build on the strategy. So we go into strategy, and those who are in the sessions, you know that I give much more than the $29 value or whatever it is that you invested in. If you say you want to be able to do something and you're not able to invest $29 or save $29, there's 2 ways to participate. First of all, I would say it's important to get your savings game up, to look at what's going on inside of you that you don't have $29 to invest in your personal development. I remember a sister, one of my dear sister friends who's always been good with money. When people would say that they didn't have the money to invest in themselves, she would always say, and what's up with that? Like we gaze over that. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. And we think that that's an acceptable answer. But when you don't have the money for something you say that you want to do, then that's a conversation. That's a conversation right there that's inviting you to breakthrough. Trust me, when I do not like saying and feeling like I don't have the money to do things. I have a very big vision. And there are investments when you're an entrepreneur that you need to keep making in your business. And I'm telling you, there are things that sometimes as an entrepreneur, when you first start your business, and you don't have a 9-to-5 check to fall back on, you will give up cable television. And it's almost like it's a rites of passage, because you need to watch less TV anyway when it comes to building your vision. You will be so surprised when you start to study. I recommend Alan Watts, man. Like, he really goes in on how much TV is designed to program your consciousness. And this is not something that is fiction. I have another friend that works in an intelligence agency. I almost said which, but I won't say which. That friend told me, he said, he gave me resources to go and look at. All this stuff is out here, public information on the role of commercials and the psychology of war. And the psychology of war starts long before any troops go overseas. The psychology of war happens, and it started happening when Freud, actually a cousin of Freud, started to begin to study how he can reach Americans to get them to do what he wanted. And so they hired a team of psychiatrists and psychology. And that's how you started to get this marketing that appeals to the subconscious mind to influence you. And this is when you can even start talking about the industrial industry. See, we weren't always people who had jobs. If you look at American history, America came from, I don't know how I got on this, because I'm supposed to be talking to you about your vibrational escrow account. But what I know for sure, and another thing for true, as they say in New Orleans, is a lot of times we don't believe fat meat is greasy. And so we gotta a lot of times have proof, have somebody give us facts and data. And when it's somebody that looks like us, we believe it even less. And so what I'm saying is, when there is a bigger game that many of us are being invited to play. And I'm saying that when I first started my business, I started with my own money. I have never had any investors. I have, and I'm not talking about a whole lot of money. And so I had to figure out how basically to pay the bills and to invest in my business. I had to start off doing some things for free. It wasn't that I didn't, and it's not that I don't know how to do the business before. You see, I have done business just like you for other people. I have worked for the mayor's office. I have worked in corporate America I have sat in the room with the superintendents and the board, the education board and the union. Hell, I was the right hand person for the teachers union. So listen, I mean, we all probably could roll out our resumes on what we do when we go to a 9-to-5. But what happens when it is time for us to do something for ourselves? I'll just take example for the gold and the Bitcoin. The first thing that a person says when it comes to the goal, is this network marketing? No, it's not network marketing. At times does it feel like network marketing? But check this out. Your job is network marketing. For real, it is a pyramid. It is the biggest pyramid that the United States government has ever offered. And you are always at the bottom when it comes to your job. And so a lot of people ask for the goal, and then when we come into the goal, all you do is share. Now you share. I took a trip to Drop Squad Kitchen in Delaware, best vegan on the planet. This woman makes her own substitute meat from plants and vegetables and all of that. And so when it came to doing some things, there were things that I just didn't know. There were things that people didn't tell me. See the other thing you'll find out when I'm getting to it, spirit must be winding me up for something. I'm learning how to open my mouth and just let the Holy Spirit guide me, even after I've been given the topic, the points, and the bullets. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but what I want to say is, when it comes to the goal, you get nervous when it comes to recommending something. Why? Because you are afraid of what people are going to think about you. Some of you told me that you are afraid to fully share me. Some of you all told me, yes, Dana, the job is a pyramid. We are in the biggest pyramid scheme ever, just with your birth certificate. If we really want to go there, many of us are walking around not knowing that we opted into a system through our birth certificate to participate as wards of the state. And that is why many of us do not know how to think for ourselves, because we have been colonized. Our mind has been colonized. Our money has been colonized. The way we do love has been colonized. How we think about education has been colonized. And so when someone comes to present to you a decolonized way of doing business, a decolonized way of doing love, a decolonized way of having your babies, a decolonized way of communicating with your body, a decolonized way of communicating with spirit, with no middleman, no church, no slave master sitting on the left hand side of the pew telling the preacher what he needs to go tell the slaves. Come on now. A decolonization is required when it's time to wake up. A decolonization is required when it's time to go to the next level. A decolonization is required when it's time for you to break away from what you have known and what you have done and how you have done it. And people will look at you like you're crazy. And if you care about what other people think, you will cave in. People will talk about you behind your back when you do not say the same things in the same way, the way that the church said it and the way that grandmama said it. But see, grandmama prayed for you to be born. Grandmama, this is not Sunday morning. Come on now. Grandmama prayed for you. And I'm not even talking about the grandmama you know. I'm talking about the grandmothers that you do not know. I'm talking about the grandmothers who did not even pray in English. I'm talking about the grandmothers who didn't speak in tongues unknown. They spoke in ancient languages and sounds and utterances. The language far exceeded. In fact, I'm talking about the grandmother that when she began to speak, she spoke in the Sanskrit. She spoke in the Hebrew. She spoke deep into the utteral sounds. That's what I'm talking about. And that is who maybe is on my spirit and why I felt called in a different kind of way today. But anywho, I don't know where all of that came from. But because this Bitcoin game, this gold game, this whole thing, it requires a decolonization of how you start to think. And what's happening is there are so many people there are so many doors of decolonization of the way we think and the way we act and the way that we love and the way that we pray and the way that we do everything, that it is so many doors that are being opened. You think that Bitcoin is a risk. Hell, it's a risk to not know what I just said about your birth certificate. It is a risk to not know what it means to be tied into a system that you don't have to be. But anywho, okay. Vibrational escrow account. I have been paying very close attention. How many of you are familiar with Tesla? How many of you know a little bit about the story of Tesla? I'm going to come back to your comments. I'm just telling my people to calm down a little bit so that I can make this worth your while, because I'm not here to entertain you. See, you can go anywhere to be entertained. You can go to any Sunday morning and go somewhere and be entertained. You can go anywhere and get a hoop. You can go anywhere and just get some motivational hype. You can go anywhere and have people give you half-ass concepts. But when it comes to soul surgery, when it comes to liberation, when it comes to opening your heart and living open-hearted, when it comes to going to the next level, that means we have to look at the game that we have been playing. And some of our call, I know that I'm called to a unique woman. Many of the women that I'm called to are interrupters to your very bloodline. What you have to do has not been done in probably the last 7 generations. You were the one that's called to go 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. You are the healer. It's your time and it's your season. And so when y'all come in here, I want you to hear that. I want you to hear it. I don't care if you don't hear it anywhere else. Because many of us are judging ourselves based on other people's business models, based on other people's theology. We already know that. Y'all are conscious enough to know that you've been operating on other people's theology and not questioning it and still feeling guilty if I don't follow, if I don't do this, is God gonna smite me? And all of that is colonization at its finest. We went to schools that taught us to take tests and write down facts that were false. We were taught to write down bullshit about Christopher Columbus. We were taught to do that. And if you did not write that down on a test, you did not get the right answer. When you did not write down his story, his version of what we took when we went through grades 1 through 12, if we didn't write down those answers. So that was the programming. Do you know what grammar school is? Do you know what the grimoire is? I teach this all the time. When we talk about grammar, the grammar, it is actually a form of witchcraft. So yes, our traditional education is the biggest form of witchcraft there is out there, including the church. Okay? I got to do something. I got to find a way. But listen, let me shout out, if I don't know if Anika Wilson is watching, maybe I'm going to look right here in the comments and invite her in. Because maybe Anika and because I know her dad is getting ready to retire, and she has a heavy mantle that she has to take on, and I just tagged her just in case, because her father he wrote a book called The Dark Side of Christianity. How did I get on this? Let me know if y'all would be interested in some active book clubs. I'm gonna see how that can look different. You know, y'all need to know where this stuff is coming from, right? Like there is the cosmic, ancient, Kemetic law, but then there's some historical things that we really need to understand, to put in context, just so that our mind can say yes to the whisperings of our soul. No woman who ever worked with me ever came by accident. Your feminine soul calls you to the Divine Mother. I'll say it again. Your feminine soul calls you to the Divine Mother. Not every woman is called, nor is every woman an ally with other women. That is why I'm going to have another guest on called, I posted this under Tommy's comment, called, she wrote the book called The Becky Code. Okay? Because don't you get swept away in this feminist movement thinking that they are including you, unless you are actively using your voice and holding them accountable. But that's a whole nother topic. Let me go into this vibrational escrow account. I think that's enough setup for us to go into how to open your vibrational escrow account. Wouldn't you say? All right, cousin. Okay, so let's talk about the vibrational escrow account. This comes from the law of vibration, right? The law of vibration basically says that everything at all times, we're all vibrational energy. Tesla did talk about this. That's why I mentioned Tesla. Tesla was a man that was before his time. Tesla was a man who brought this information about who we were as energetic beings, right? He's not the first person that brought this information, by the way, but he was a scientist. And there were many scientists who were aware of who we are. In fact, a lot of quantum physicists, in the beginning, quantum physicists discounted metaphysics. They did not believe that the mind had anything to do with facts, data, mathematics, and numbers. And so what scientists started to believe, that even when a specimen is being observed, that the scientist, the body, the noun that's observing the specimen, the noun, the person, the human, is influencing the results, meaning the outcome. In other words, if the scientist is observing something in a petri dish and they're looking to get results on the other side, the disposition and the belief of the scientist influences the actual outcomes of their results. Do you feel me? So, in other words, break it down a little bit further. If the scientist doubted that the outcome would be a certain outcome. So let's just say they were studying the life of plants, And if the scientists went in not believing that that plants are living organisms, then his results or her results at the end would show evidence based on what it is that they believe. And this is where you start to get quantum physics. Look at the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? There you have quantum physicists, scientists, and they deal with the mind that needs evidence and proof to believe in the metaphysical teachings of ancient Kemet. And yes, thoughts create reality. We create our own reality. The Bible says it like this: unto you as you believe. And because many of us are vibrating so low based off of the 15-20 minutes of everything that I said about colonization, when you start doing this work as a woman, what you're doing is starting to increase your vibration. Now, when we talk about vibration, there is there are levels. Sound can be measured. The vibration can be measured based off of sound energy, light energy. Like vibration is not just it's not limited, and so it can be measured. Vibration. So sound, light, color, your joy, all of that has a certain measurement. And so what happens is when you start doing these basic things, like asking the right questions, you start to quicken certain things on the inside. Now, then when you go out and you begin to speak certain things into your life, vibrationally you raise the energy, but at the same time there's a part of you that has been vibrating at a certain level. Let's say the vibration of you is like this. It's a lower vibration. You start to speak higher vibration energy, but you've been vibrating like this, and you start to speak higher vibrational words, and you start to listen to higher vibrational music, information, read high vibrational text. You start having high vibration sex. You start having high vibration orgasms. When you start to vibrate, there's a part of you that has been vibrating like this, lower, at the lower vibration, longer than it has been here. So life happens, and boom, this vibration takes over, and you fall back down. Life happens, you don't get a return text from your lover. The bill is due and they threaten to take your car, or if you don't pay this bill, if you don't pay your rent, you won't have a place to live, or if you pay this bill, you won't be able to pay the next bill. So this is down here. So this world is based off a lot of down here. And then there's an even lower vibration of depression. There's a lower vibration of anger, envy, and jealousy. There's a lower vibration of gossip. There's a lower vibration. Even the music that we listen to, that has certain codes in it. So when you start to even vibrate on that level, and this is why you do have to question. This is why you cannot talk by high vibrational affirmations, doing high vibrational work, having high vibrational sex, and then you go sing a song like I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. There are gospel songs that are low vibrational. It brings you down. And there are prayers that you pray from the place of begging and moaning. Oh, Lord, will you bless me, Lord? Oh, Lord, I give you my life, Lord. Oh, y'all know. Y'all already know, right? You got to listen to the Sunday call. I don't want to take myself there. We've been taught to beg and to moan for what it is that is rightfully ours. So we take if you beg God, if you have to plead with the God of your understanding, if you have to do that for God to qualify yourself to be in relationship to God, then what will you do for another man, especially those of you who believe that God is a man? So many of women come with an inferior relationship to men anyway, because you believe that God is a man and that you are the lesser than version of God. Come on now. So when you come in to do this kind of work, when you start to question, when you start to open up this space and understand, how can I come from any man that does not have a womb when everything starts off as female? I could never come from that which I give birth to. I am first cause. I, the woman, is first cause. You'll have your sons talk to you different. You will show up different when you understand that I create my own reality. And the reality around me is a product of what it is I have created. And so therefore I can uncreate it. That's where we get stuck sometimes in the metaphysics. And so sometimes on the journey, you may spend time uncreating that which has been created for you, and that's okay. Nothing is wrong. But when you have spent so much time being a good old girl, going along with the program, not trying to upset the apple cart, being appropriate, when you've been such a good girl, you followed all of the rules. You got married, you didn't have sex before marriage, or you didn't let anybody know that you was having sex before marriage because you managed not to get pregnant. Or maybe you got pregnant, or maybe you had some abortions, or whatever the case may be. But then you cleaned up your life and you got saved. Saved from what? Saved from what? I'm asking. That consciousness, that level of consciousness has us operating in right or wrong. And many of us spend a lot of time trying not to be wrong, or we want to appear right. So when you start to shed these things, and I understand, trust me, I have prayed the prayers that you have prayed when your heart has been broken, when you see your family and you know you can't call on anybody in your family because they may be in the same shape or worse than you. When you need to pay a bill, you don't know what it is to go get a business loan from somebody in your family. Because this is something that we have not been I should not say we haven't had it, because we've had it, but we have not seen it modeled very well in family legacies. And so many people have shame. There are families who move here and they buy. Let me use this example, okay? I used to live out in McLean, Virginia, right near Tyson's Corner. And when I would go to parties with some of my friends out there, they were all nationality. I mean, they were from the Middle East. A lot of them were from the Middle East. There were some Indians. There were even some Asians we would hang out with. Their family, a lot of times they would have a big house, one of the big old $500,000 or more houses out in McLean. But what those families would do is the mother and the father would purchase the house, and they would start putting family members, maybe their children who went to school, but they would also it wouldn't just be their immediate family, meaning their children. It might be a cousin that comes in. It was a plan. It was a part of the family business plan. You come, you get your education, you live in this house, you go work for the family business, or you create a business and you save your money. You live in this house until you have a deposit to go and buy a house. So there are some nationalities who never rent. They don't even know what that is. They have cash deposits on a house. You say, well, because I don't know. Have you all ever rode through a neighborhood and say, what do these people do for a living? I work hard every day. How do they do that? How do they afford that? Anybody? Was it just you or just me? And they would tell me, and I mean young, they would be young and living in these houses. I mean, I've had friends whose family, whose daddy was diplomats, which came with another set of benefits. And they lived in these homes. There was no plan to go back to their country. But when they went back for business, unless an elder was not well. But when we have to go home, think about us, brown and black people, Latino, and those of us who are of American descent, and I do mean American, meaning the original American. You all do know that the original American is us, that all of us did not come from Africa shipped on any boat. That is a part of the narrative, and those people look very distinct. And this is why some of you have roots right in Mississippi, because Mississippi was not a state. Mississippi was a landmass, and it's known as the Mississippian culture. There are mounds and pyramids throughout this country that are the pyramids. We are the mound people. We are the original people of this land, many of us. So all you got to do is speak to your blood. Those mounds and those pyramids are sitting near vortex centers. So when our people prayed, when they chanted, when they sang songs, when they burned sacred oils, and when they did plant work, they did it near these pyramids and these mounds, meaning they leveraged the chakras of the earth. The earth has chakra centers. Those chakra centers feed whatever kind of ritual or mindset you are vibrating on. Does that make sense? So when we talk about opening our vibrational escrow account, when life happens and we panic and we go into anxiety, one of the first places that we can go is our breath. It's to take a breath. It's something so simple. You can rebirth yourself through your breath. There's different types of breaths that you can do. Many of us don't breathe properly. So that's one way. This is why meditation is so important. Many of us hold our breath when it comes to a problem or a situation, when you can't think of what to do, when you can't think of how to do it, when you can't remember your tools. Breath is one way. Okay. The other thing that's very important is visualization. Okay? So I want to give you another exercise. Just those two things, breath and visualization. If you don't know what your vision is for yourself in this season of your life, it's okay too. It's when you settle in the not knowing, that's not okay. When you settle in the place of, I don't know. When you constantly affirm, I don't know, you close your vibrational escrow account, because you were born knowing. You were born with your divine and holy record stored in your blood. That is why your melanin is so important. So your breath, your meditations, not to mention the diet that we're on. These are things that begin to close up our pineal gland. So why do you stay in this work? Why do you do this work? I don't care what you know. There's certain places where you don't know what you don't know. And certain things, some of us are so goddamn hard-headed and stubborn and easy to lead in the wrong direction and hard to lead in the right direction that sometimes we need to hear it. Do you know that it's that when you have consistently done this kind of work, high vibrational work for 7 years straight, there is nothing anyone can do with you. They cannot take from you what's deposited in you. The question is, when you start getting tired and you don't want to get up in the morning, you don't want to do certain things, you don't feel like you have the energy. Have you been 7 years straight doing this kind of work? And those of you who have, you're being called to another level. I didn't know when I knew that I had spiritual gifts, right? I knew that I knew things before they would happen. I knew that I could look at people and see certain energies, and I couldn't understand and translate it because my gift doesn't operate as sometimes I see colors depending on what type of setting we're in. And sometimes I hear, I get hard, y'all see that happen or hear that happen all the time. But when I first started this journey, I started uncreating. I started getting free basically through first my own pain. I had to uncreate. That's what healing does. Because some of the things, and then when I was starting to say earlier, I know some of the prayers you prayed, you're like, I didn't create this. I didn't put this in me. I was born to my parents. But you have to know that you are such an evolved being, that you existed long before you got in, you showed up in the womb of your own mother. This is why the scripture says, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. It says it in the Bible and it says it in the Quran. Now look, if you look at the I and I, the holy I am, there is no separation. Many of us who believe in a God out there, you hear it as God up there, out there, knew you before you were in your mother's womb, right? You knew you before you were in your mother's womb. You chose that mother. And so the question is not why and how did I didn't create this. What you're saying is I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible for what I created. The question that you get to ask to open your vibrational escrow account is, why did I choose this mother, this father, this family? How does this serve me in my purpose, in the way that I'm supposed to serve the world? You see, when I started to do that, the first thing Spirit started to say to me was, who told you that you get one mother? We've been taught that we get one mother, one father, one lover. And so when it doesn't work out with that, we spend years and lifetime feeling like something is not right. So you put a limit on God. Because there is one mind, one power, one energy, but it manifests in so many variations. And I know I can see that my Wi-Fi is slowing this down, but let me know if I'm still coming through clearly. So one of the things with your vibrational escrow account, multi-millionaire, and I'm not best at this. I will say this. I could do better. If every day you made a decision that you would, thank you, Rhonda, for letting me know I'm good, that every day you make a commitment that you're going to raise your vibration. That is what the Juicy You does. The Juicy You gives you 30 days to engage with part of yourself your womanhood in a way that's concentrated, that's deliberate, that's intentional, and that is supported. Sisters, this is why I offer the programs that I offer. It's so that you can have that experience and you activate something that's so beyond just participating in a workshop or a program. And everyone, except for every now and then I have a session where one or two people may check all the way out. Well, Rhonda says I'm good, so I'm coming through. And Nina says I'm good. I'm dipping in and out for you, Mom. So it depends on what your internet is doing. When it comes to the vibrational escrow account, you don't look at where you are. You look at the end of what it is that you say you want, desire. And you move your energy to already having it. That's one way to operate. What a lot of us do, I'm choppy. Y'all see that juicy shirt though, don't you? Let's see if this works. I just tried the Wi-Fi. Let's see if the Wi-Fi will work for us. Tell me if I'm coming in okay. Tell me if I'm coming in on okay. Till March, I was told by my cell phone provider that they are doing modernization in my area where I live. And it's out of my control. So that's a great example. Let's look at that as an example. Something out of your control. Will you show up? Because it is frustrating. And so what I get to confront is my perfectionist. Right? So I have to uncreate all of the frustration, the chatter, the shutdown to just say, just fuck it. That comes up when something is out of my control. I want to use that as a vibrational escrow account. When you decide, I don't give a damn what the obstacle is, this is going to happen. You immediately raise your vibration alone just on that. So let me give you another example. This is why I keep looking over here, putting my glasses on and on. A friend of mine wrote this a while ago. They said, I moved into a $2.5 million home 40 miles up the road in the Pacific Palisades with the same exact view from my bedroom, my guest bedroom, my home office, my living room, my dining room. And get this, the garage had a window, so even my car got a view every morning. It took less than 2 months for me to manifest this. But look, this is what was manifested. A $2 million home, 40 miles up from up the road from where he previously lived. Check out where he previously lived. He started feeding his vibrational escrow account every morning. And he started to ask the question, how would I feel if I had this view from my bedroom window every morning? He was not living where he wanted to live. He did not have a job. He did not qualify for the loan. And he said he started to wake up every morning to say, how would I feel if? That's so key. Would I feel if I woke up every morning in this place? He says there were houses up there, you see, and I figure, why not me? A lot of times when we look at something that someone else has, you focus on why you don't have it. And then instead of looking at why not me, Why, if they can have it, then I could have it. That is why in the juicy process, we teach you how that when your sister gets what it is that you've been looking to manifest, you celebrate her and you say, let me rub your head. Because it's something about her head that manifested what it is that she wanted. And if you're in proximity to it, then you know that it's possible for you. So he said, I asked myself the question over and over until the feeling finally hit me. And I broke out into tears saying, yes, y'all have seen me when I start to talk about my purpose, my call, that it moves me to tears. My question to you is, what is it that you really desire? And have you gotten to the point that you can start talking about it, visualizing it, feeling it every day, that it moves you to tears? That is when you are beginning to open your vibrational escrow account. So he said he broke out into tears when he finally, after doing his meditations, after asking himself that question every morning. And he said when he broke into tears, he said, it's a done deal. He said, I wiped my tears away and I rejoined my group, my work, my tribe. He said, I had no clue how long it would take me, but I knew that the prayer was the prayer. And once again, it was a done deal. He said that in November, this was in November, when every morning, he asked himself that question, how would I feel if? 2 months later, the $2 million, he moved in a $2.5 million homes 40 miles up the road from where he used to live, with the exact same view. And every room in his house had a view that he had imagined before he ever had the house. And he said that, y'all know Abraham Hicks? He said he asked Abraham, how did that happen? Right? He said, I explained to Abraham that I know we're supposed to forget about the how. Right? He said, I know we're supposed, I'm sharing with, so this is something a friend shared with me years ago. That friend is not even here anymore. He said, I know we're not supposed to worry about the how. How many of you all get stuck on the how? How many of y'all get stuck on the how? And he said, we're supposed to focus on the what. I know I help you all determine the what, right? In our processes together. But he said, I don't understand how it worked. I'm just glad that it did work. And so he said, Abraham simply said this: vibration. Vibration. I'm pausing intentionally because I want you all to let that sink in. Because you know what's a distraction to your vibration. You know what your habits are. You know when you are thinking about some of you know when you're trying to prove your worth through your high achievements. There are some of you who are high achievers and you're still trying to prove yourself because you didn't feel approved of. So you're still trying to prove that you can do it, you can make it. And all of those things they contrast us in our vibration until we get unafraid of that. Now let me tell you, I'm gonna be transparent again. Spirit told me to do something. I'm just gonna tell you what it is, so I can stop thinking about it. I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna do it or when I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna live it right here for you in front of you. I need to write a book, right? Running this business as a solopreneur sometimes it's challenging because I do all of the invoicing, everything, right? And sometimes year after year, I find myself not hitting some of the things that I want to do, and I know that it's time for me to grow my team. Well, I have people that come on my team and that I'm such a good coach that they start getting their vision together, and then their vision becomes a priority, and I can't be mad at that. And so that's the way it's supposed to be. So I've always seen even the ladies who go through the process, like I want y'all to go through it so much so that you can be business partners later, that we can partner together later. Y'all know it's true. Some of you all who are juicy butterflies, you know that I'm always in your ear about how we can partner together. Okay, so that's the setup of what I want to say. Spirit told me to open up the next Juicy You for Lent for women leaders, particularly those who have been wanting to attend, that have a skill set or asset that I can use and we can do an exchange. Open it up for leaders, maybe about five slots of leaders who want to do this work just like me. And you want to do something, so we're able to do a trade. I need support with graphics. I desire support with graphics. I desire support with scheduling out the rest of the Rebirth Sunday, and getting all of the speakers lined up for the rest of the month. I desire to. My girlfriend is finishing up my website. It's been a year-long process. I thought I would never barter again because she took my program, and there was an exchange that was supposed to happen, but life kept happening, and so there's some things that I want to do even with that, right? Y'all with me? So Spirit said, ask for what you desire. Now, you may not be the person that's watching that's able to provide it. I'm at the point I need to make some investments in the business, and I want to write this book. I need to write this book. I want you all to hold me accountable to write this book the way that I would hold you accountable. But Spirit said that I had to do this first. So I am opening up the space if you'd like to have a conversation about administrative support, graphic design. I would even like for someone to do the accounting. There are some sisters in there. It would be nice for me to have some body work done, so that I can do certain things. What I want to do is free up some space so that I can have time to write. Now, I'm putting this out there, right? Because I want to model for you that you get desires that come to you all of the time, but you will not open up to creative ways for you to do that. Because the first thing that you look at is that you don't have the money. And so you sit in here and you amen me when I say that money is my own natural energy yield, which means that you do have the money because you are the money. What happens is, it's not that we don't have the money, we don't have the vibration. And that's why asking is a vibration. Asking is a demonstration. Placing your desires out in the universe, becoming vulnerable, listening to the urges of spirit that you get. The only thing that you can get if you put something out there is a no. And if you keep asking different people, and sometimes even the same people, they're not going to keep saying no. I had one person who begged her way into the Juicy Spirit Rites of Passage process. Now, she still didn't end up paying me, but she begged her way in, and I couldn't say no. I heard Les Brown talk about that. So if you know some skilled people, maybe you have already had that. If you've already experienced the Juicy You, or you are a juicy butterfly, or you'd like to experience it again, if you know of some ways, and yes, I know I can hire this person or that person, but quite frankly, I don't have the budget to hire some of the people I already know that can do some of these things. I feel no shame about that, because my freedom is far outweighs my budget right now. And so I say that to say is, what do you need to ask for? Since I went first and I demonstrated, I want you to open your vibrational escrow account right now. Open your vibrational escrow account right now. I want you to pretend, yes, pretend like you did when you were a little girl, because many of us have manifested the lives of the little girls. Oh, Lord, don't get me teaching on that. The little girls in grown women bodies. But that little girl can serve you in some other ways. I want you to think. Yes, I want you to think. Do you remember asking? First of all, do you remember asking for what it is that you wanted? Did you make a list of the things you wanted for Christmas and then it was just, you were surprised? Or did you emphasize, I really, really want this thing on my list? Every year for Christmas, I had a big thing that I wanted on my list. Every year for Christmas, right? And usually I always got the big thing on my Christmas list. But I had to learn how to ask. So I want to ask you, what do you need to ask the universe for? I want you to pretend that you are asking. Now listen, before you start typing, hear this. Do not. I am putting a limit on it only for the subconscious mind to believe it. You need for it to be at least 51% believable to your subconscious mind. So don't tell me about a yacht and you are still catching the bus. You can still do your math and your imagination in your mind. I want you to think of something that you really desire. Just like I said, here's how I want to grow this business. What do you need to free you up in order for you to do the next thing that you feel called to do? I want you to place it in the comments. I'm waiting. And I'm going to go through the comments while you all type in the new question. Open your vibrational escrow account right here, live, right now. I'm going to go through some of the comments. Rhonda said, don't look at what you have, look at what you want and operate as if it's so. Nina says, look at what you desire. Move your energy already having it. I know some of y'all typing what I said. That's cool. I'm going to just read it back anyway. Vanessa said, I felt this clearly when I was younger. I worked hard to forget it, and now I'm seeing it again. I don't know what you're referring to, but it was something that I said that you felt, and it reminded you there. Nina has been a scribe, boy. Thank you, Nina. Risha said, I have spent my whole life thinking I got one mother. I actually as a child made a pact to never let anyone replace her. I see how much I missed out on mother energy from others. Wait a minute. That right there, that's why I love me some you, Risha. When you type, when you write, when you get it, you go right to the heart of it. You do not bullshit around when you get it. I love you, Risha. Let me tell you something, sis. You spoke for every woman that does not have the strength and the voice to say what you just said. And I want to acknowledge Risha right now in this moment, because she is a woman who grew up without her mother, her mother died when she was early. And some of us still have our mothers, so we won't understand what it is that she's saying, because many of us are spoiled and taking some things for granted. But she deposited something in here that made my belly leap. She said, I thought that I only got one mother. And this is why many of us who have mother wounds have been unmothered, undernurtured by our mother. Many of us who have been disappointed by the judgments, the condemnation, the attacks, and the control of our mother, but have not been freed up to say it. Many of us are also shut down just like she is, even though she lost her, not like she is, like she was until today, as Iyanla says, until today. Because you won't let another woman nurture you. When you feel let down by your mother, you fight any woman that brings you nurture. You look at her side eye, you blow the shit off that she says. Risha said, I actually, as a child, made a pact to never let anyone replace her. And today, Risha, I petition you to renegotiate the terms of that agreement. To either destroy that contract or rewrite another contract, and to make a new pact with yourself that you have been given many mothers, and go into gratitude and praise. Start looking at the women around you who have mothered you, and you don't have to say you don't owe them anything, but start looking at the women who have loved on you, who have told you how to change your pad and how to take care of yourself as a woman, how to go and shop for a dress, what to do when you have sex, how to do whatever. You go and you look at these women in your life, and you begin to look and see the abundance and the overflow of the women in your life. I thank you for being transparent. I wear the likes and the love button right now. Send her some love. Push that love button for Risha right now. She said, I see how much I missed out on my mother energy from others. You're not the only one. And that's how come I'm doing a special work with mother. When black women and your mama, oh yeah, we doing a special work. I'm not sure which program I'm going to put it in, but it's going to be a special edition. I encourage every juicy butterfly to be in it. All right, we're going to keep going. Keep going. Y'all some powerful women. Y'all sitting in here dropping some gems. Y'all know I love it. Okay, so I'm checking. I just see the question. Tisha says, how about I was going to ask you if I can join some form of process you got going on, because I desire to be in a process like I started 3 years ago, and I can offer the proof editing services. Well, so yes, that's how you ask. I have about 3 books started and an idea for a reality TV pilot and a group therapy idea for healing. So, is that a pregnant woman right there? That means you're pregnant. That's a good example. And so, Tisha, you know that I have already accepted your proposal for the editing for me. But when life happens, I give people space in their life so we can revisit the conversation that I started. Okay. Cecile said, I desire a 6-month sabbatical. Girl, wait a minute. Let me get up and dance with you. Woo, 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 woo. I'm going to tell y'all, if I wasn't running a business online, I would come in and talk to y'all like I do, but I wouldn't be online. I know what it means to be private. There are millionaires who don't have fame. Y'all know that? You don't have to be famous and be good. In fact, the people who know private banking, private commerce, the people who do private business, they have a whole different status. They have a whole different license plate. They have a whole different, they're decolonized. Go back to the beginning of the video. So, Cecile, you made me dance. She says, fully paid, no worries about bills to set up systems in business. What if you just had 6 months to heal your heart? Some of y'all still trying to set up business, and you might need to be doing some things for yourself. Okay, so Vanessa says, I desire to be my desired mother and wife. I need help in the area of balance, meal prep, house cleaning, transport, personal goals. She not alone. Come on now, don't leave her out there. How many of you all need a wife? How many of you all need a wife? Y'all need a wife. I'm not trying to be kinky or nothing. I'm saying that you need somebody just like you. to come and do all the things that you do for everybody else. You need somebody to come in and do it. And that's why wealthy white women have housekeepers. They have a staff to run those houses. So when you're envisioning the $1 million house, you need to envision the $1 million staff to maintain them too. That's good, Vanessa girl. Janae says, I desire the opportunity to work in my passion and purpose daily. So that's too big. I want you to be specific. You a lot of us get lost up under the broad strokes. We say, I just want to live my purpose, and you don't really know what your purpose is. I just want to live, or you don't say it. And part of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, talks about being specific. You have to learn how to be specific in order to make requests. That's how you open your vibrational escrow account. Tressa says, I'm grateful that all my life I found and leaned into mother energy. All right, thank you. Nina says, I see you like Wonder Woman some days. Some days I see myself like Wonder Woman. Do you know the history of Wonder Woman? Yep. She comes from, y'all heard of Amazon women? Well, the history of Wonder Woman comes from the Amazon woman, the Amazon goddess. I'll just stop right there. All right. I'm keeping going, right? Monica says, but see, this is not an ask. And let me tell you, earth signs, Monica, I don't know if you're an earth sign, but some of you all are so direct that you don't really form it into an ask, which we abbreviate ourselves through texting and stuff. So it just says, leave Verizon with income that allows me to do what it's calling me. Make that sexier, right? So just make it sexier, but I get the gist of what you're saying. You probably didn't feel like typing all of that in here. I understand that. But when you do it for yourself, do take some time. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, Nina, but I don't see your desire in here. Rhonda says, I need a wife. Rhonda, you do, girl. You need a wife. You need a woman just like you. And you'll be set. You'll be creating all kind of stuff. All right. So anyway, thank you all for participating. If you didn't answer the question, I want you to, I understand, Monica. Yeah, I'm just messing with you. It's a great example though for other people who are watching. I'll be teaching more on the law of vibration, but that vibrational escrow account is going to spill over into the She Magic Money focus that we are focusing on in the coaching clinic. Also, in this Juicy You, the Lenten edition, please consider coming into the Lenten edition of the Juicy You. I'm going to give some additional mindset support for Lent this year. I'm going to have a special session on February 15th just because Valentine's Day is in the way, where you can invite some people. It's going to be free and open. You'll get the link for that. The She Magic Money is ongoing. I'm not doing a whole lot of promotions of it. The only people that probably know anything about it are those of you who are in Good Girls Gone Goddess, because it's a way for those who are growing forth in Goddess or who've already grown forth to continue to stay. And I understand that once a month is not enough for some of the things that you want to do, but that means that you would have to invest in another program. And so this is a very active season for Rebirth International. Every year around this time, well into fall, is when our programs start. And when I say our, I know because I do not walk alone. And so I encourage you to get in where you fit in, to inquire how you can get in. If you do know people who have these skills, ideally, my greatest desire is a project manager, someone who can manage all of the projects that I have out here. And they can be the one in touch with the vendors, the contractors, that person can support me in communicating with the team. I want to have a team meeting with those of you who are already working with me in some way. Dana, and I know I don't have to say this on live, but you know, it holds me accountable. Tisha, Dawn, did I leave somebody out that volunteered that's not on here? I think that's everybody. And I know you all might be thinking, well, how can I help? Or I do something else. You may not be you, but it may be somebody that you know that has been wanting to do that. And then I'm saying it first in here, and then I'm going to be opening it up to the public. So I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. I know that I got kind of excited, unapologetically so. I am 21 minutes over the time. No wonder so many people had to leave. So thank you all for those who hung on here with me today. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. See you on the other side, everyone. Ciao. And get juicy. Get juicy. These are the shirts for the juicy butterflies. If you're a juicy butterfly and you don't have your shirt, get it, baby. Because we worldwide. Juicy butterfly. Juicy butterfly. That's the goal for every woman. I want to see you become a juicy butterfly. Ciao, y'all.